let's go. The new Echo event is out. We are looking at this really quickly. We're gonna take a look, and I've already summed it up into my little note card right here. So right away, 1,200 asteroids, which is almost 110 pull. Plus, you get modifiers, which is actually super useful for echoes, and some skins for the echoes, and a new wings, which look absolutely amazing. So before we get into the actual cards and all, let's go through what each round is and how the game's played. So there are 8 rounds. Each character has 30 HP. You can see right here, 30 HP, and you get to have 21 echoes. As you can see right here, 21 echoes. One that has a core echo having 8 damage, which is quite large, and evidently it is the strongest unit in the game, right? It consists of 9 rounds, so one setup and 8 fighting rounds. In this description, it explains it as battle stages and deployment stages, so 8 battle stages and one deployment stage. Throughout this deployment stage, you get to choose and get your echoes ready. There's a few ways you can get them quote unquote ready. So first of all, it's modulating your echoes, right? So modulation is where you drag one echo into the other, and it's basically merge your echoes to become stronger. That's all it is, right? However, a modulated echo to be a one cost, you can modulate it twice, but you must modulate a cost 3. It needs to be on top of a cost 1 that has been modulated. So you can basically take this echo right here and you can put a 3 cost over it, and that's the only way you can modulate, right? Okay, transforming, as you can see here, this is basically just providing buffs. It's like a 20% damage buff type of buff, probably. Obviously, it doesn't give us much information, but that's what it seems to be. And you know what? If it gives more damage, it gives more damage, it's better. So you probably have to build your team around these thoughts. All right, the last, one of the more important parts is reconstructing your echoes. So it seems to give you more energy, and it seems to allow you to use it again in another round after. Um, each core echo seems to be like a lead echo, right? It's like if you take a team and you put in the biggest support. So Shorekeeper in the game is the biggest support, and she is everywhere and anywhere. But she supports certain units better than others. And Brant, for example, is another key unit that supports certain units better than others. Same thing. Core Echoes seem to be a huge buff and a huge damage dealing capability that helps you do damage with other units, and there's probably a ton of synergies. Now, they even have these things called tactics, which is using different characters to have an active and a passive. An active requires energy, passive, it just happens when their conditions are met. It seems to do, right, it says powerful effects. So it's not very, very obvious, but you get 6 units. And what I hope from this game is they give more variation, and maybe they do like rounds of 6. So multiple rounds of 6, and with different units, with different tactics, would be super, super interesting and super cool to see how you can exploit each part, right? And another buff or capability through this game is Medals of Prestige, which is probably just bonus levels as you proceed through rankings, since it's a PvP event, right? Using these prestige points, you can not only unlock echoes that you haven't obtained, you can also upgrade the appearance of your echoes. This is the animation for I Choose You explanation. All right, this is a very fun event, it seems, and I really hope it'll go well. One thing to look at now is how the cards are made and just how the teams might be able to be comprised. All right, so first of all, each card, as you can see here, has 4 basic stats, right? It has a cost right here. See a little dot right there? Seems to be the cost, right? 3 strength. Strength is damage. One damage after the turn. So it sums up all your cards and does a certain amount of damage, summing up all the middle numbers. And the Constitution seems to be how much defense it has, or something like that. It's got a shield right there, an attack right there. It seems to be that way. It says, yeah, withstanding damage, so it's defense. And these two are pretty self-evident, right? At the end, surviving echoes deal damage according to the value, right? All right, in this picture, you can see there are some 3 costs, 1 cost, and then this doesn't have a cost, but that's because it's your core echo, right? This is very important to understand and see as we go through this. Of course, 21 echoes, as I've said, and the core echoes have 8 damage, which is actually the highest. The 3 costs seem to have higher attack and defense numbers, varying through the two, and they all seem to have, like, 1 cost have 1 damage, and 3 costs seem to have 3 damage. Okay, and that's kind of it for the event. Other than the fact that each deck can contain echoes of 2 attributes, and this means that most likely there is like buffing capabilities that probably restrict your teams, and there are probably some enemies that are probably weak, and it's probably like an elemental system. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens, and they even have preset builds and loadouts most likely that are very much like echo loadouts. So I really can't wait to see what happens. Please stay tuned for the future videos that I make. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please subscribe, comment, like. Have a great day.